strong, empowered, authentic.
What's up, Ginger Nation? This is Tosh.
This is Darren, and you are listening to the Authentic
Ginger Podcast. Welcome, Ginger Nation, to the Authentic Ginger Podcast. I'm Tosh Taylor.
And I'm Darren Roach, and on today's show, we have the honorary chieftain for the Moncton Highland Games, a spirited traveler with his companion. Well, his companion's not here right now, Luna, and a very stylish kilt, I must say. Michael, very nice. Michael Yellowlees is from Dunkeld, Scotland, trekked across Canada from the Pacific to the Atlantic in an effort to help rewild the Scottish Highlands. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on.
This has been something I've been looking forward to all summer. We are officially in our summer here now, so I'm really excited that you're here with us. We're all here at the Moncton Highland Games. What else could be any better than that?
I don't know. We're even outside, and we're in person.
And
for the very first time ever.
That's right. It's fantastic. This is great. So yeah, we wanted to just kind of have some fun with you today, Michael, and kind of get your story. But before we do that, Tosh is going to ask you a question because we always kind of kick off our podcasts with the question of red hair.
We do, because that is the whole point of our podcast. So we want to know about little Michael growing up as a ginge. You're like super strawberry, right?
I am, yeah. I am. I'm sort of, yeah, totally. So little Michael growing up in Scotland, so like the sort of journey that we all go on, I suppose, as redheads growing up, a lot of insecurities around it at school, a lot of bullying going on, picking on you, all the rest of it. But yeah, things have totally changed. I'm now 32 years old. A young man, and to be honest, that we've got the most beautiful coloured hair going. I'm so proud to be a ginger.
Nice. When you're younger and you remember back in school, did you ever get into any situations where you kind of thought to yourself, man, I'm being made fun of, or was there name calling towards you or anything like that? Do you remember anything like that when you were growing up through school?
Yeah, absolutely. So I got a lot of stuff at school. Sometimes even your words disregarded because you're like, you're trying to talk in a conversation and like, shut up, you're ginger, that sort of thing. And sadly, it does have an effect. You start believing it sometimes. You start going, okay, maybe this is a problem. To anyone listening, it's totally not. It's totally not. You just got to, stand up and be proud. It's good.
Yeah. When you had some comrades through that whole situation too, did you some friends that you kind of were allies of yours, and as you go through school, you have these kind of friendships that take on. Any of those friendships kind of help you get along the way, or is it something you kind of just did on your own? Like, you know what, I'm proud of who I am, proud of my hair color. I'm ready to go here and take on the world.
Yeah, so, as you say, I'm a bit of a traveller. I've sort of travelled for most of my teenage years and through my 20s and stuff. And it was probably through travelling that I fell in, I was told, I was travelling in these beautiful places around the world, and people are coming up and touching your hair, and people are, touching your beard. I'm in India, and I've got, 50 people all trying to touch it and going, your hair is so beautiful, and, and so it's probably from experiences like that, you start going, actually, we're bloody beautiful, it's really nice.
Yeah, no, 100%. And you know what I have found funny as we do this show? It is the people that grew up in the UK where you and I would think it's more prominent to have red hair, right, that get more bullying than we did here in Canada or in the States. That's what we're finding. So, and then you're going and you're traveling other countries and realizing, no, this is cool.
No, we were awesome.
Okay, so let's get into the traveling, because where have you been? And then, what experiences have you had that are just bonkers? Yeah,
because you did mention that you started young traveling. So, I mean, that's going to go back a few years. You had the bug, and you were I'm going. Where did you go? In those early days, what was the plan? Where did you set the course and go, you know what, I feel like I want to go here? Is that the kind of how it went, or was there a plan in place for it?
Yeah, no, it came about a bit randomly, to be honest. I went on a family holiday to Sardinia in Italy, and at the end of the holiday, I think I was 17, 18, and end of the family holiday, I sort of said to my family, look, I'm not going to come back just now. So I just started wandering. I picked up a wee classical guitar. I ended up busking around Europe and awesome. Started jumping on trains and doing all sorts of stuff. So I ended up being away for about 9-10 months, end up in places like Israel and Egypt and things like that. So it was a great time.
Yeah, absolutely. So then you're traveling through there, and then you at some point come up with this harebrained idea that you're going to walk across the country. So you did this with a purpose. So let's talk about the purpose of your walk across Canada.
Yeah, so I've been raising money for a charity called Trees for Life that are planting native woodlands in the Highlands of Scotland. And I came up with this idea back in sort of early 2019, where I was walking in Scotland. And for a description of Scotland, Scotland can sometimes seem a bit of a sad landscape. It's very barren and bleak. You look out and there's not a lot of trees, there's not a lot of wildlife. So kind of wanting to do something about that. So whilst I was out on a walk, I was sort of tying into the history of the landscape and what happened in sort of late 1700s. There was sort of a mass migration of Scots all over the world. So people were removed from their homes, sometimes burnt out of their homes, put onto ships and sent all over the world, and a vast majority of them came to Canada. So tying into that history, we came out and we've been walked across Canada in my kilt last year, and we did it from west to east to sort of try and reverse that process, bringing some of that energy home with us.
And over 9 months, so that means there was a winter involved there. So, how was that?
Yeah, so we started in March, and we were faced all sorts of weather. We're faced with snow, we're faced with rain, with the heat of the summer and the black flies, etc. So it was tough going at times.
Now you keep saying we. Who is your partner on this trip?
Yeah, so my partner in crime is my dog Luna, who I met in Canada when I first came out. So I had the lovely opportunity to do a season of mushing. So running sled dogs, so it was lovely. I got the whole Canadiana experience of running dogs, me and Luna sort of fell in love with one another, and she's been with me ever since.
On that journey, you must have written a few songs, because we know now that you had a very small classical guitar when you first picked it up. What do you have now? Do you still have that same guitar when you traveled, or have you moved on to something else?
Yeah, no, I've got it's still a travel-sized guitar. It's got a carbon fiber body, and it doesn't warp with the cold, etc.
Right.
But yeah, absolutely, yeah, we've been singing songs throughout Canada, which has been beautiful, sort of connecting people through music, which has been wonderful. And yes, I've been writing some songs, so there'll definitely be an album in the future.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward for that. This is a curiosity that I have. I mean, I'm thinking about you traveling across Canada, and with Luna, your dog, and I'm thinking to myself, along the way, you either did you stay on the Trans-Canada, or did you veer off the Trans-Canada? And then if you did veer off, did you do any fishing? Did you do any kind of activities like that you would do if you're camping or you're backpacking? And what kind of activities would you have done? I know you would have been tired because you've been walking every day, but what kind of activities would you have been doing during that trip?
Yeah, so we were sort of following a mixture of the Trans-Canada, some minor roads, and we were also following what's known as the Great Trail, or the Canadian Trail. So getting off the beaten track a little bit there, which was beautiful. Saw some beautiful country, experienced some amazing wildlife, encounters with bears, hearing wolves howling. So really, really amazing experiences. Activity-wise, not so too much. You're walking so many miles every day, you don't really have a lot of chance to. We did have a beautiful section where we had to come off the highway because it was becoming too dangerous to walk along, and the only other option to us was canoeing. So we had about a 400-kilometre canoeing section, which was wonderful. Moving through some lake countries in northern Ontario. It was really an amazing experience.
Did you have a canoe in your backpack?
Just popped it out, yeah. Just it was in the sporran. We very fortunately met the right people, along the way, and I told them what I wanted to do, and they got the kit ready for me. So as soon as I arrived, there was a canoe waiting to go in the water for me. Brilliant experience.
And you must have met a lot of people on the way too that opened up their homes for you as well, so that you weren't staying under the stars the whole trip. I'm assuming there's some couch surfing going on too, and just the open arms, I'm sure, of Canadians right across the country.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I keep saying it, I always do, but it has been a trip of human kindness. People have been amazing to me throughout Canada and opened up their homes, as you say.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rest of the time we were camping. It was just roll mat and bivvy bags. So some beautiful nights under the stars and sleeping in forests and wherever we can find.
Yeah.
So.
And for those who don't know, when you first started the journey from BC, how long were you walking per day, and then did that change 9 months later as you were finishing your journey on the East Coast?
Yeah, so I kind of broke myself in slowly. So I was doing sort of 20, 30 kilometer days to begin with, and then we sort of by the end of the trip we were sort of quite comfortably doing 45 to 50 in a day's walking.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I always like to ask some food questions, just because I'm interested in food. I love food. And I always like to live through others who have experienced something that I likely have not. On that journey, was there any kind of meals that you kind of just were like, this is really cool? I mean, have you had poutine before on your journey? There's one that not a lot of people outside of Canada would really know. Anything like that you can share?
Yeah, well, totally. We've certainly been treated to poutine a few times on the journey, most definitely, and it is amazing. But yeah, no, I suppose it goes back to the human kindness thing. There's moments that were totally uplifting on the road. You're having really hard days, and then suddenly someone pulls over on the road in front of you, and they knew what you were doing, and they've just come out to bring you a meal, and it just changes your day entirely and totally lifts you up.
Yeah,
and, really lovely experiences like that.
And did anybody stop, roll their window down, and say, "Do you want a Timmy's?" And you went, "A what?"
I think I survived off Timmy's for most of it.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and lots of moments like that. People just pull over, hand a coffee out the window to you. It's just it was amazing. Really amazing year.
Gee, and so you finished the journey from BC to the East Coast, Newfoundland, I'm assuming, and that just finished recently.
Yeah, so we started in March last year, and we finished on the 5th of December, in Cape Spear.
And now I understand you're heading back. Tell us about that next journey and that next leg and what that's all about.
Yeah, so after the Moncton Games this weekend, I will be driving back across Canada, and we're doing a bit of a musical year, so we're sort of going to collaborate with as many musicians across Canada as we can, but really sort of sending the message about the fight against climate change through that platform. Anyone listening that would like to follow along, you can do so through Michael and Luna, A Rewelding Journey, and you can check out what we're all about.
Yeah, and that's on Facebook. So Michael and Luna,
A Rewelding Journey.
A Rewilding Journey, sorry. I'll put that in the show notes anyway, so everyone can log into that and check it out. I think that's fantastic, and again, I think there's a few records coming out of this. If you're doing a music trip, I mean, maybe it's going to be 5 months instead of 9. There's lots of time to write lots more songs and have some fun.
No, absolutely.
Especially with other musicians.
Good fun year. The cause of climate change is obviously a pretty serious one, and one that we're all having to face up to right now.
Right.
But I don't think it has to be a scary thing. I think we can have fun with it. We need to do the work. We need to get motivated and galvanized. But it can be an adventure. It can be why not dream in times of running off into battle? Let's live that right now.
Right. Yeah. And with that music piece that you're going to do, are you thinking that you'll collaborate with artists and take them on a section of your journey, or will you stop in the cities or the towns and have that? What does that piece look like?
Yeah, so I'll drop into towns and cities, and to be honest, we'll try and do it in nature. So I think we're going to try and do sort of nature as our backdrop. And it really is a bit of celebration of Canada. You guys have wilderness over here. That's another part of my reason for coming to Canada. So you have wilderness over here that we've lost back in Scotland. So this year we're going to be raising money for a Canadian charity. It's almost as a thank you to everyone here as my former time, and a bit of celebration of Canada and the beauty that you have all around you.
So do you find, because I've heard this lots of times, do you find that the landscape of Canada is very similar to home?
Yeah, certainly. Obviously, it's hugely varied. You move through so many different landscapes: the Rockies, flatlands, lakelands, all the rest of it. But yeah, there absolutely is. There's some places in Scotland, or some places in Canada. Sorry, that are so much like Scotland. I often say as well that I sometimes feel like I could walk a mile down the road and go visit my granny. And that sort of thing. Yeah.
If there was a town, city, whatever it is, throughout Canada that you would want to move to.
Oh, that's drastic.
Which would that be? Because that's not saying it's your favorite. That's just saying I've been through here and I was like, this is heaven to me. What city is that? What province?
It's a hell of a question. That's really tough. Again, it's probably the same answer. There's so many places throughout that I've been shown huge kindness. It's a difficult question for me as well because I'm a bit of a wanderer at my heart, so I kind of go to and fro. So I'm gonna I'll stick to my guns and say I'll just be dropping in visiting people all over Canada and in beautiful places.
You're never gonna settle down.
I know. Well, maybe one day we'll see. Meet the right person. You never know.
What did you think when you went through the flatlands of Canada? What was that experience like?
Yeah, so I think that was the answer to one of the surprising places. I think so many people warned me about Saskatchewan, Alberta. It's dead flat. You're going to be bored, etc. But it was actually one of the most delightful places to be. I was sort of waking up in the morning and walking towards the sun rising, and there's such wide open skies. It just looks amazing. And same at the end of the day, the sun would be setting behind me, and it's a really beautiful place.
And what I know about at least that part of the country is, of course, that a lot of the roads are fairly straight, which means that if you get up in the morning, you hit that road, and you can see for what looks like to be miles. Tell me what that feeling is like when it's more than miles, maybe thousands of miles before you actually see where you're going.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Obviously, it's can be a bit of a challenge at times, but yeah, like beautifully funny experiences of like seeing a town on the horizon and walking all day towards that town, and it doesn't get any closer to you. It's still on the horizon.
By the time the nighttime comes, you're like, are we there yet? Like I've seen this town all day long. Luna's looking at you like, let's just get this finished. Like I'm done. I want to go to bed.
I also wonder about the same thing when you hit Ontario and Quebec, because they don't ever end. That must have felt like, because I know what it's like driving a car across those provinces. I can't even imagine walking them.
Yeah, I think we're in we're in Ontario for like 2.5 months or something, walking across Northern Ontario. Seemed like we were there forever, but but again, it was really, really beautiful. We did at that stage. We're hitting sort of midsummer, and we had a hot summer last year as well. So we did a lot of our walking in the evenings and sometimes through the night, and so we had these amazing experiences of walking along the sort of round Lake Superior and dead at night, and you can see the sort of moon glistening off the lake, and it's really, really beautiful, and wolves howling, and it's really, really special.
That is really cool.
I would be running for the hills.
Yeah.
I would not be looking and thinking this is beautiful. I'd be like, I'm freaked out. I need to get somewhere fast.
That's why he has Luna with him.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. So yeah, I aspire to be you, Michael. That's for sure.
So the drive back across starts when?
I'll leave on Monday. So straight after the games, I'll be heading off and heading back across country. And yeah, it should be a really exciting year. Looking forward to it immensely.
Yeah, absolutely. And then back to Scotland to kind of stay?
Yeah, kind of stay for a while, yeah. So I will be heading back to Scotland eventually. When that is, I'm not sure, but big year for Scotland next year, so I'd like to be home for the push for Scottish independence, which is happening next year.
Tosh, how much do you want to bet that after that event that he's going to go to in Scotland, or after what he just mentioned, that he will not be in Scotland much after that? I sense there could be another travel coming after that.
We'll see. Like, I think there's work to be done. I'd like to. There's sort of, again, with climate change and what we need to be doing around climate change. The best way of doing that is doing it at a community level. So it could be the wanderer that I am, might end up finding some roots back in Scotland and sort of building it up from the community base, which is what I'm aiming to do at some point.
That makes sense. Yeah.
There's always something to fight for, right? And there's always something to be a part of. So.
Totally, and again, right now, like climate change is the one that's at the forefront of. I think most, or if it's not, it should be off most people's minds. This is such a drastic thing we're going to have to face up to, and big changes need to be happening. So.
What with the money that you raised for the Highlands, what does that go back to? Are they planting trees?
Yeah, so that's trees in the ground, so that's amazing, and so I'm talking with the charity as well. So when we get back, we're going to be doing work with the charity to sort of develop what we've been doing, and there may even be a Luna forest in Scotland as well, dedicated towards my wee dog, which would be lovely.
Wow.
Yeah.
What? Sorry, my heart just went. That's really cool. You must be really proud of that.
I am very proud of that. Yeah, so that would be a sort of realizing your dream and envisioning it. Wouldn't it be a powerful experience to walk through a newly sprung forest that is going to be part of what you've created and what you've given to, which is really lovely. On that breath as well, we're talking about Scottish culture, and we're talking about that. This has been a dream sort of come into reality for me. Like this morning, I had the beautiful experience of leading in the pipe bands, holding the Scottish flag, and that was the vision, and so suddenly it's becoming a reality. So it's very exciting. Yeah,
that's awesome. And just again, for those who are listening, you're the honorary chieftain for the Moncton Highland Games. Tell us what that means to you, and kind of what the job is.
Yeah, so big role. Like I've got the honour of sort of opening the games today and welcoming the athletes to the games. But over and above that, the history of the games was the chieftain would go down and view the athletes and basically pick the best warriors from the games. That was basically the basis of what the Highland Games was all about.
Cool.
So I'm going to be doing a similar thing over the course of the weekend. So I'm going to be mustering support for the cause and the fight against climate change. So I'll be going around and taking names of people and trying to create a bit of support for that fight.
I bet you never saw this ever come to fruition. Like when you decided you were going to walk across Canada, never thought you'd be honorary chieftain, never thought Luna was going to have her own part of the forest. Like, whoa. Totally.
Like, I mean, it was very much, you had no idea what the response would be like or what the reaction would be like to the journey and to the cause what we were doing. And so, yeah, to see it come into reality and to, it's kind of blown us all away. It's again, I'm leading in the pipe band this morning, and tearing up doing so. It's a very powerful experience for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So your parents, who at 18 you left in Italy and said, "Yeah, I'll be back later," they have got to be extremely proud of, because you probably grew up as the dreamer kid, right? And they probably never knew what was gonna come of Michael.
Totally. So again, I think they're getting used to me. But when I was talking about this one, you definitely saw the look of fear in their eyes as I'm telling them what I'm about to go and do. But yeah, as soon as we started, they get totally behind you and being totally supportive, and yeah, I'm very much looking forward to seeing everyone when I get home. It's been a few years now, so it'll be nice to go back and see everyone. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Was there anything else that you wanted to cover? Like, anything up to you?
Yeah, no, well, just well done with what you're doing, guys. I think it's a really powerful thing that you're doing. A lot of young people, especially red hair, there's a lot of stigma around it, so it's really good to sort of be promoting that and tell them to stand up tall. We're beautiful people. Go out and sing.
Awesome. And just so everyone can follow your journeys, where again can you tell us where can you be found on Facebook? Is it?
Yeah, so we've got a Facebook page called Michael and Luna, A Rewelding Journey. And you'll see all about what we've been up to, what we've been done in the past, and what we're going to be doing this year as well, and you can follow us along there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, and thanks for coming to Moncton.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you very much. And you've been listening to the Authentic Ginger Podcast. You've been listening to the Authentic Ginger Podcast.
Become a part of the Ginger Nation by liking, subscribing, following, and leaving a review wherever you listen to podcasts. This podcast was produced by Tosh Taylor of the Podcast Hub Productions. Find her online at podcasthub.ca.